to recap my journey of the last couple of weeks. I started in Cape Town. From there, I went up to Clanwilliam and a visit to the Cedarburg, up to Kamiskroon and the Namaqualand to see the flowers, Ugrabies for the waterfall, all the way up into the Kalahari Transfrontier Park, and today all the way to the Mokala National Park just outside of Kimberley. Although the roads are all dirt, they are easy to drive and in a good condition, and in no time I arrive at Lilydale Rest Camp. Lilydale Rest Camp, Mokala National Park. I'm in chalet number 1, and I'm quite sure that this is the one that I was in with my mother-in-law on her first and only visit to South Africa in 2015. Quite an experience, and I'm quite sure it will be exactly the same this time as well. One big room incorporating everything: bedroom, kitchen, and a small bathroom. Basically everything that I need. Basic, but perfectly serviceable. And as per always, it is just so much nicer to be in a place like this if this is the view from your balcony. After a good night's rest, I head up for an early morning game drive. The area around Lilydale is mostly an open grassland with here and there a camel thorn tree. The waterhole, about a kilometer away from Mokala, is an excellent place to stop, as it attracts a lot of plains game from the local grasslands. Mokala National Park is named after the camel thorn tree, which in Setswana is known as Mokala. The vegetation changes from an open grassland in the northeast to a more thorn-felt savanna in the southwestern parts of the park. I tend to do a lot of photography, and therefore I love visiting this park, as it is one of the few places where I can photograph some of the rare game species such as Tsessebe, Roan antelope and Sable antelope. You can also come across big herds of Cape buffalo in this park. National Park, the buffalo population carry diseases such as foot and mouth disease and East Coast fever. For that reason, they may not be moved outside of that region. A couple of years ago, a special project was launched to breed buffalo that are not carrying these different diseases. These then became known as the disease-free buffalo herds. Individuals from these herds were then sold off to private landowners and also moved on to national parks in the rest of South Africa. Mokala is not one of the very well-known national parks, so it is very seldom that you would find a lot of vehicles at one sighting over here. Animals such as this South African giraffe tend to be very relaxed, and you can spend a lot of time just sitting and watching their behavior as they go about doing their normal daily things. Camel thorn tree, such as this one, is a very important food source for them. This guy happily feeding on the top branches of the camel thorn. The giraffe has got a long leathery tongue that enables him to feed on the soft leaves between the sharp thorns in the camel thorn trees. Just as the giraffe feed on the top branches and the leaves, the Birchall zebra feeds on the grass that is found in the more open grassland areas. Another grazer we find in this national park is much larger than the zebra, and it is the white rhino. Although we don't see them very often, their dung middens can be found throughout the reserve. They tend to stick to the more thornfelt areas, and I was very lucky to come across a couple of these guys. The one over here is a young calf, with the mother just a little bit further behind. Mokala's got a good population of both white and black rhino. White rhino are grazers and black rhino are browsers. In this specific case, in this type of habitat, you can actually find both. But in this case, white rhino that are moving along the road. You will notice that their horns are cut off. This is done in order to make them less attractive for poachers that have been targeting this species over the last couple of years. They do not have very good eyesight, but their sense of smell and hearing is very good. You can see the way that those trumpeting ears are constantly moving around, trying to pick up the faintest sound. The distinct red color you see in this region is due to the iron in the sand that has oxidized. We can therefore say that, well, the soil has rusted. Tsessebe is found throughout the park. The way that these two are constantly horning the ground tells me that they are most likely bulls, and this is a type of territorial behavior. The one telling the other one, "This is my area, get out please." The Tsessebe, such as these guys over here, is one of the world's fastest animals. Just after the pronghorn antelope and the cheetah, they can reach speeds of in the region of about 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. Now, I don't know who tested it, but I'm not going to be the one holding the speed trap for them. Another important grazer in this reserve is the blue wildebeest. Although there are no large predators such as lion in the park, these guys are always alert. One of the advantages of being in a herd is that there's a lot of eyes, ears, and noses that can detect the presence of a predator. Halfway between Lilydale and Mosu Lodge, you find the Stofdam bird hide. This is not just a good place to see some of the local mammals, but also very good to see a lot of the birds that occur in this region. Because Mokala has got large areas of grassland and thornveld, it attracts birds from both these different regions. Birds like the swallowtail bee-eater, as well as the high-felt nediki, is relatively common throughout the reserve. Along the way, I came across this white rhino bull in the middle of the road. And he was really a cantankerous old boy, absolutely refusing to let me go past. For more than 20 minutes, I had to stare at his backside as he's trundling along the road, doing, well, rhino things. Just around the corner, I found a secretary bird. I love watching these guys as they search for snakes and insects in the tall grass. As the day warms up, more and more animals are making their way to the water hole in front of Lilydale camp. Just in this one shot, you can see Cape Eland, Birchall zebra, blue wildebeest, and even a springbok in the background making its way through the area. In many African languages, buffalo such as this one is known as a daga boy. Daga being the Swahili name for concrete, and boy, well, because he's a boy. So literally meaning the boy with a concrete. The reason for that, as you can see here, rolling in the mud, and the caked mud looks like concrete on his skin. They are very grumpy, and one of the last things you ever want to come across on foot. They will charge with the smallest provocation, and beware your soul if you are in their way. My day draws to a close, and I head back towards camp. As the sun sets, I sit back, pour myself a whiskey, and just enjoy the silence of this amazing park.